Hi everyone, in this video we're going to go through skill sheet 15B, questions 4 and 5. So question 5 is very similar to a question that we've done before, but kind of same scenario, but different part A and B. So when I first saw that, I thought I've already done these questions, but I haven't. I did a similar one, I think, on skill sheet 15A. Anyway, so we're looking at just finding the expected value. So remember, the expected value is the same as your mean, and we're going to find the median. Now for part A, your expected value, remember, is your mean, which we also use the symbol mu. Okay, so those three things mean exactly the same thing. When we're finding the mean, we're going, we're multiplying the function by x, so x times f of x, and whatever our limit is, so, from a to b. So for this question here, our lower limit is 200, and our upper limit is infinity. Now, because we're going up to infinity, we're going to introduce a limit in a second, and then it's x times our function, so x times 1000 on 3x squared dx. All right, so I'm just going to tidy this up a little bit. So this x will actually cancel out with one of these x's here. With the infinity, I'm just going to introduce the limit. So as a approaches infinity, and I'm going to take 1000 over 3 out as a common factor, and then we're going from 200 to a. And then I'm only left with 1 on x, which is the same as x to the power of -1. All right, so a few things I did there all in one step. Okay, so just, if you need to do multiple steps, you should end up here. Okay, so each line we're going to rewrite the limit. All right, 1000 on 3, and then we can write the antiderivative. So the antiderivative of x to the -1 is log of x, natural log of x. Now, you need to remember that. And our limits are 200 to a. All right, so let's substitute in a and 200. All right, so I'm going to keep that 1000 over 3 out the front. Then we've got natural log of a, and then minus. Sorry, just had to pause while I turned my emails off. Okay, so just substituting a and 200 in. And remember, a is approaching infinity, so we've got to say, well, what is happening here if a is infinity? So what is natural log of infinity? Now, basically, it is infinity. So what we have here is we're left with 1000 over 3 times infinity minus log of 200. And it doesn't matter what log of 200 is, because infinity is a huge number. All right, so we're basically, what we're doing here is 1000 on 3 times infinity, which is equal to infinity. So with this question, your expected value we get is infinity, which you can't have. So we just say your expected value does not exist, because you cannot have infinity as your expected value. All right, not moving on to question 5, we've got part B, sorry. So we're going to find the median now. All right, so let's write that down. So your median is some point we don't know what that value is. So we know our lower limit is 200. So we're going from 200 to something, which is our median. And our function, sorry, I just had a mind blank, is 1000 on 3x squared dx. And because we're finding the median, we let that equal 0.5. So you can easily do that on your calculator, or let's do it by hand. So we've got, let's take 1,000 on 3 out, and we found the antiderivative. Oh no, that was, sorry, expected value is a bit different. Let's just rewrite that, 200 to m, and I'm going to rewrite this as 1,000, oh, I've already taken the 1,000 on 3. Sorry. Okay, so we're left with 1 over x squared, which becomes x to the power of -2 dx equals 0.5. Wow, what an effort to get to that point. All right, so 1,000 on 3. The antiderivative of x to the -1 is negative. Sorry, let's start that again. The derivative of x to the -2 is negative x to the power of -1. And we're going from 200 to m. And remember, let's work with fractions just because they're easier. All right, so we can get rid of that 1,000 on 3 just by multiplying both sides by its reciprocal. All right, so they cancel out. And let's do our substitution as well. So we've got negative m to the -1, so I'm just going to write 1 on m, minus negative 1 on 200 is equal to 3 on 2,000. All right, sorry, I had to delete a bit. So if it was a bit weird for you there, it's because I've just deleted a few things. So let's tidy it up a little bit. Just make sure everything's right. Okay, so we've got -1 on m is equal to 3 on 2,000 minus 1 on 200. Now, if I was doing this by hand, which is quite frustrating, I would bring the right-hand side as the same denominator. I can leave that as a negative there. So 3 on 2,000, and then to make this denominator 2,000, just multiply both by 10. So then we've got -1 on m. 3 minus 10 is -7. Okay, so now what I can do is actually just flip the fractions, and I don't know why I didn't give myself a little bit more room. They're both negatives also, so I can make them both positive. So m is equal to 2,000 on 7, which is, if I just quickly do that on my calculator, 285. I don't know how many decimal places, but I'm running out of room, so let's just do it to 2 decimal places. I'll see if it stipulates how many. Okay, so there's your working out for that one. Let's move on to question 5. So question 5 we did, we didn't do. We did something similar in skill sheet 15A. So if you can remember back then, we had to find S first of all. So I'm going to repeat that now. Just because if I went back to the sheet, you might think, oh, what is she doing? So we do have to find S first. The question doesn't ask us to find S. So don't just assume because it doesn't ask us to find S that we don't have to. Now, it is a probability density function. So that means that this is equal, so the antiderivative is equal to 1. And I just remembered when I did this before, I kept thinking my S was a 5, so hopefully I don't do that today. All right, and x is greater than or equal to 0, so we're going from 0 to infinity. So I do need to introduce a limit. So limit as a approaches infinity. That 1/3 can come out the front. So we've got a 0 e to the negative x on s dx equals 1. All right, and now we have to find the antiderivative of e. So let me just quickly do this. 1/3, put your square brackets. All right, so negative s e, negative x on s. So I might just put a multiply in there just so we don't get confused. 0a is equal to 1. All right, let's do our substitution. Just about to write a again. That is infinity. Negative, so we're substituting in for x, not s. S is what we need to find. So negative s times e to the negative a on, no, that's all good. Sorry, just had a bit of a mind blank. Substitute that in, so then we've got minus negative s times e to the power of 0, and that is equal to 1. All right, so let's just tidy it up a little bit. All right, you can actually, before we do that, let's delete that. All right, I can get rid of that 1/3 by multiplying it by 3 on 1. Okay, so that disappears now. Could have done that before. All right, so if we're introducing infinity here, basically this term becomes very small. All right, so it becomes irrelevant. So basically we're now left with just the two negatives, so plus s times e to the 0. And I just realized I probably don't need that, and I don't need that either because we've already put in the limit in. So this part here is equal to positive 1. Sorry, not positive 1, s times 1. So s is equal to 1 times 3 on 1, which is 3. Now, I feel like my explanation maybe in the 15a video of finding s equals 3 was maybe a bit better, but same gist. Okay, so now our function, just get that back up, is f of x equals, and I can't remember what it was, 1/3 e to the negative x, and it's not s anymore, it's 3. Okay, so that's our function. So now we can do question A. All right, and I think from memory we were finding the expected value. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the expected value. All right, so our lower limit was 0 and our upper limit was infinity. I can take that 1/3 out the front, and then we've got e to the, whoops, we're finding the expected value, so I've got to put the x. So x times e to the negative x on 3 dx. All right, so at this point, you can't really go any, well, you can, but in methods, we're not going to go any further. So we're going to do this on the calculator. So I'll just get the calculator up, shift it on over to this side. Okay, so we're finding the definite integral. I probably could have left that 1/3 there, but we're going from 0 to infinity. Now, on your calculator, you don't have to introduce the limit. And then x, whoops, times, put the 1/3 in. So you could have left the 1/3 out the front, doesn't matter. 1/3 e to the power of, it's taking a while to do, negative x on 3 dx. All right, so the expected value is equal to 3. Sorry, I just checked my answer and you probably didn't see the calculator. So it's equal to 3. All right, so don't need to be able to do that one by hand. And then B, we're finding the median from memory. Find the median. Okay, so just writing in our function. So we're going from 0 to some value, which is our median. The 1/3, I'm just going to keep out the front, and e to the negative x on 3 dx, and that's equal to 0.5. So we can do this by hand, so I'm going to go ahead and do it by hand. So I might just start over here. So 1/3. All right, the antiderivative of that is negative 3e to the negative x on 3, 0 to m equals, and I don't like decimals. All right, so we're going to get rid of this 1/3 on the left-hand side, just multiplying both sides by 3. So that disappears. And I'm going to do my substitution at the same time. Minus negative 3e, so that's going to be 0, and then 3 on 2. All right, you can see, actually, no, it's going to do something with those 3's, but let's just leave it for now. Plus, and so e to the power of 0, anything to the power of 0 is 1, so we've got plus 3. All right, and then I can take 3 out as a common factor. So it's going to be 1. Just thinking whether I should, thinking while I do it. I'm going to take negative 3 out as a common factor. E to the negative m on 3 minus 1. So that gives me e to the negative m on 3. And then get rid of that negative 3. So dividing both sides by negative 3, or multiplying by negative 1 on 3rd. Negative 1 on 3rd. Negative 1 on 3. All right, so that cancels out. And then on the right-hand side, we've got negative. So those 3's cancel out. So we've got negative 1/2. And how much space do I have? Not a lot. Oh, I don't know where to go. I'll go here. All right, so e to the negative m on 3. Bringing that 1 over will then make that positive 1/2 on the right-hand side. Then taking the natural log of both sides. And then, why have I written n? I think because I had the natural log in my head. Okay, tiny little 3 down there. And then if I multiply both sides by negative 3, m is equal to negative 3 log half base n. Sorry, not base n, base e. Negative 3, I'm just doing this on my own calculator, log for half. So I might just do that over here. So m is equal to, if we're leaving it as an exact value, you could write 3 log 2. And its approximate value is 2.0794. All right, so a bit all over the place, but got there in the end.